which is more attractive, which are more beautiful, Filipina or Thai girls?
Good morning from Bangkok, Thailand. My second to the last day here before I head back to BGC. But this video is about comparing the two. Which is the better place to live? I'm going to talk about that next. Okay, so I'm in Bangkok. I've got one more night here. Tomorrow evening, my flight leaves going back to BGC. And I go back home. It's been a month since I've been there, so I'm excited to get back. But I absolutely love Bangkok. This trip, a month-long trip, I had some friends along the way that came and stayed and did the tours thing with me. We spent time in Bangkok. We spent time in Pattaya. We spent time in Hua Hin, and just had a good time. And this last week, I've kind of been on my own, which was kind of nice to relax and kind of do my own thing and check things out. And got me thinking about, man, could I live here? I was visiting and looking at some condo units in Bangkok, and I love Bangkok as a city. It's just an amazing city. It's so full of energy, and it's got everything, and it's super easy to get around. So I'm going to compare the two today. I'm going to compare living in BGC, Manila, and the possibility of living here. Now, I've visited Bangkok and Thailand now 5 times in the last year and a half. So I've spent about 2 months total, almost 3 months total. Uh, yeah, about 3 months total in Thailand and specifically in Bangkok. So I've got a pretty good idea of what it's like to live here and get around here, the cost of living and that sort of thing. So let's kind of break that down. First of all, the Philippines, and we'll talk. I'm going to talk specifically about Manila and BGC and Bangkok because if you talk about Thailand to Philippines, there's so many variables and it's really apples to oranges. It's really hard to compare. But if you compare the big city to the big city, you can make that comparison. So first of all, in the Philippines and BGC, it's a beautiful place. I love BGC because it's so convenient. It is a bubble. I've said that many times. It's not true what the Philippines are indicative of. So if you're looking or thinking about living in the Philippines and you come to BGC, you're going to be a little shocked because it's not what you might think it is. But it's got all the conveniences, and there's no brownout issues. We can walk pretty much anywhere in 15, maybe 20 minutes, and yeah, it's got tons of grocery stores, tons of malls, uh, lots of different food, both Western and Asian. It's also got lots of bars and some clubs too. And you're right next to Makati. Quick drive to Makati will get you that more grittier part of the Philippines. I call it gritty, but it's more realistic than what the Philippines is about. But it's also a business center, and it's also got lots of clubs where a lot of foreigners go to, and so it's a lot of fun there. So Philippines, Manila, BGC has a lot to offer, and I love being there. I've been there for over 2 years now, and I do absolutely love it, and it's my home. But let's talk about Thailand in specific, Bangkok. When you're when you're comparing Manila to Bangkok, it's so different here because the infrastructure is so much better. It's so much easier to get around from one place to another here in Bangkok because they've got so many options as far as the Sky Rail, the BTS, the subway, the MRT. You can literally get anywhere, point A to point B, in a short amount of time. It doesn't take long at all, and there's not a lot of hassle involved. Plus, you've got lots of taxis. You've got your Grab, and there's also another Grab app that you can get. It's not Grab, but it's different. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'll post it. And then, of course, the tuk-tuks, which are kind of like a jeepney, only for one group, and you can get anywhere. And then the bikes. That's the easiest way to get around is on the bike. To get from point A to point B real quick, get on a bike, and it's going to cost you, 20, 30 baht, something like that. Riding the subway and the MRT and the BTS is super cheap too. You can get from one point to another in between 17 baht and 33 baht or 40 baht. So it doesn't take much at all to get around, and it's super easy. So transportation infrastructure is a lot better here in Bangkok than it is in Manila. Also, housing. I've looked at some condos here, and I've looked at condos in Manila and BGC. If you want to live in decent areas, you're going to pay a little more in Manila, BGC or Makati than you would here in Bangkok. Bangkok's got, now if you live in the heart of the city where all the action is, you're gonna pay a premium amount of money to live here in Bangkok. But the nice thing is you can live farther out, pay less money, and you're still convenient to get to where you want to go because of the transportation, the ease of the transportation with the sky rail and the subway. So living away from the center of the city isn't as big a hassle here as it is, say, in Manila. Say you want to go to BGC and you live in Antipolo or you live in Manila proper. It could take you an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the traffic, to get where you want to go. There's no MRT, there's no subway that runs through BGC. Now I know they're talking about building one, but that's not going to happen for a few years if it does. So, but right now, I'm talking about the present. There's no easy way to get to where you need to be unless you get on a taxi or a Grab, and then you're at the mercy of the traffic. How bad is the traffic? So, like if I'm leaving from BGC to go to the airport, generally if I leave late at night or early in the morning, traffic's not bad, so it takes 20, 30 minutes. That's good. But if you get in that traffic during the day or a weeknight, it could take you an hour and a half. So you're at the mercy of the traffic in Manila. So that's the big issue. Back to the housing, you can stay away from the center of the city here in Bangkok and pay a cheaper amount, and still be convenient with the BTS and the MRT to get around where you need to go. Now, so if you're used to the condos and the living in BGC or Makati, you're going to be in for a little surprise if you want to downsize or get a cheaper unit farther outside of that area. You're going to pay less money, but you're going to give up a lot of the amenities and the luxury and just the quality. The overall quality of buildings here in Bangkok are better than in Manila, in my opinion. We can talk about condos here. So there is that. The furniture's nicer here. If you're familiar with the Philippines, the furniture is usually wooden couches with a pad on it. So yeah, they look beautiful because they look like they're hand carved. They're not very comfortable, and if you like those big overstuffed chairs and sofas, you're not going to find that a lot in the Philippines. Now, I'm not saying you won't, but it's not as often, and it's not something you see a lot. Here in Bangkok, you see those big sofas a lot. The better furniture, better quality furniture. So I think the build itself is better. I think the quality of furniture is better. The quality of appliances is better. So that's a big plus for me as far as Bangkok. What else? Food prices. I checked some local grocery stores here in Bangkok, and generally speaking, the average grocery that you would buy, the fruits and vegetables and the boxed food, that sort of thing, produce products. It's cheaper here in Bangkok than it is in the Philippines, than it is in Manila and BGC. Prices are going up everywhere, but they seem to be going up at a higher rate in the Philippines than they are here in Thailand and Bangkok. So you're going to pay a little less on most items here. Now, you will pay a premium for some things, just like the Western items, but even that, the Western items, the imported items that you get from your home country or wherever, are a little cheaper here in Bangkok than they would be in Manila, because I think there's a less import fee tax here than in the Philippines. I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that because the Philippines is an island nation, it's harder to get goods and services there. So I think that's why those costs are higher than here in Thailand, where you're connected, you're a land, well, basically a land country, except for the bay. But your neighbors are, you've got neighbors, you've got Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, China, right up north. So you've got a lot of different ways to get your product down into Thailand or into Thailand. So that's a plus on the Thai side. Let's see, what else? Restaurant food. Okay, so restaurant food, you can find some really good deals in BGC. Most restaurants are a little higher priced in BGC and in Manila, but you can find those deals that you can pay, 300 peso, which is about 550 or 560 for a meal. And but in BGC there aren't a lot of street food options. In Bangkok, every other block's got a street food vendor, and I'm always a little leery about eating street food in the Philippines. I've gotten sick almost every time I've eaten street food in the Philippines, so I kind of avoid that. Here in Thailand, I've never gotten sick eating street food, and I eat it a lot. I eat a ton of street food, and I've never gotten sick. So, and you get really good deals. So that's a big plus for the Bangkok side. So another thing, other restaurants or other places to eat here, you can get as high as you want here as you can in Manila or BGC. But generally speaking, I think it's about even with Manila and Bangkok as far as restaurant prices. And then the beer. And if you're a beer drinker like me, you can find better deals in Manila and BGC as far as cost of beer than you can here in Bangkok. The best deal I've found is a half a liter of beer during happy hour for 99 baht, which is just under $3 for a half a liter of beer. I don't know what that equates out to in ounces or pints or whatever. You figure that out. I know it's more than a pint, more than a bottle of beer or a can of beer. Now in BGC, we've got some hangouts. My buddies and I, we can go get a bucket of beer, 6 beers, for $3.99 or 400 peso, which is about $7.50. So figure 750 is about 68, 69 cents for a beer. So that's a pretty good deal. That's a good deal for a happy hour. I can't find those prices here. I haven't been able to. Now, if you get out of Bangkok and you go to Pattaya or Hua Hin, places like that on the beach, those bars you can find, happy hour for 55, 60, 65, 75 for a beer, which is, $1.50, something like that. So that's not bad. But I'm talking Bangkok in particular. So not a lot of great beer deals here in Bangkok. The thing I like about Bangkok with the beer is you have more choices for beer than you do in Manila. Most places only serve the Sandmake products, Red Horse. Once in a while you can find Corona at a premium price. Once in a while you can find Heineken at a premium price. But there's not a large choice option
beer in Manila, in BGC. Here in Bangkok, you can get any kind you want, pretty much. You've got them all. You've got all the locals, you know, Singha, Tiger, Leo, Chang. You've got all those. Plus, you've got the Japanese beer, Sapporo, Asahi. You can get San and San Light here. In fact, a buddy told me that that they don't sell light beer locally here, as far as Singha and Chang and those. They have those light beers, but the Thais don't buy them. They don't buy light beer. So if you want a light beer, get a San Light, because they sell that here. So that's a little tip for you. If you come here, you get your San Light, and that's about the only light beer you can find here. You can't find any local light beer. So beer prices are better in Manila. What else am I not hitting on? Utilities. Electricity is cheaper here in Bangkok than it is in Manila. Now, I don't spend a lot on electricity, maybe less than $100 a month for my condo in BGC. But from what I understand, from everyone I've talked to, electricity prices here in Bangkok are cheaper. And I talked to a Filipina who is a realtor, and so she knows what Filipino prices are. So she told me right out that electricity prices here in Bangkok are a lot cheaper than in Manila. So you got that. Other conveniences, let's see. Ease of transportation as far as getting somewhere outside of the city. So in Manila, you got to take, you can take these buses to go somewhere else on Luzon Island. If you want to go to Union, or you want to go up to Subic Bay, or down to Tagaytay or somewhere like that, you got to take a bus, or you can grab it and just spend a premium on that. But it's a little easier here. The buses are super cheap, and it's easy to get from, say, Bangkok down to Pattaya, like less than 2 hours, and it costs you $5 American dollars. Or you go to Hua Hin, less than 3 hours, or right around 3 hours, and it costs you $6. So it's really easy to get to other places. Thailand's mostly one mass of land. I mean, you do have some islands. Phuket is considered an island, but it's not really. It's just a quick ridge run across, so it's really easy to get there. You can fly in. The problem with a lot of really neat beaches in the Philippines is that you have to fly there, and then you have to take a ferry or a bus or a bike, and it takes almost half a day just to get to where you want to be. So that's a little inconvenient. But once you get there, it's amazing. I mean, the beaches are some of the best in the world in the Philippines. But they have pretty good beaches here in Thailand as well. So getting from point A to point B, I like Bangkok because they've got 2 airports, and you can get to either airport by train or any other way you want to go. If you want to go by taxi or Grab, it's money, but you can get there by train, and then you can pretty much fly anywhere you want to go. You can fly to super cheap to any other country even. And now Manila, you can do the same. In the Philippines, you can do the same, but getting to the airport can be a little tricky. Because sometimes you have to fly to that airport if you're on another island. If the island you're on or the city you're in doesn't provide international flights, then you have to fly out of Cebu or out of Manila, and then it can be kind of almost taking a whole day out of your vacation time. So you've got that. You've got that to take into consideration. Dating. Let's talk about dating. I'm going to flip around here and get in the shade because it's starting to get pretty sunny. Second. Okay, that's a little better. I got a little bit of shade left. I'm on Sukhumvit 24, about halfway between my condo and Sukhumvit Road, which is the main road that all the action's on. So I'm about halfway between there at this place called Acorn Cafe. And I've walked by here several times during my stay here, and this is the first time I've come in here. They have good food, good coffee, a little pricier. It's a little nicer area, but I like it, and it's nice, shady. Got a little bit of a breeze, so I decided to do this outdoors this morning. Let's talk about dating. Dating in the Philippines. If you are an expat and you want to date a young Filipina, whatever your taste is, or you want to date younger, you're going to have an easier time in the Philippines. You're going to have an easier time because it's the girls, the Filipinas, they are more accepting of an age gap relation than probably anywhere else in the world. So you're going to have an easier time finding a young Filipina to date and possibly marry, if that's in your future. It's possible to do that in Bangkok, Thailand, but it's a little harder. Just observing here, I see a lot of foreigners with Thai girls, and their age are closer together than they are in the Philippines a lot of times. So you're not going to see a lot of 60, 70-year-old foreigners dating 20, 25-year-old Thai girls here. It can happen, but it's not as prevalent as it is in the Philippines. So if that's your thing, if you're looking for that young girl and you want to relive your college days by having a young Filipina beauty on your arm, then that's the place to go. Go to the Philippines. You can do that here, but my advice would be if you're looking for somebody that's going to be true and solid and a long-term relationship and not transactional, you have to look for someone a little older, in their 30s and 40s even. Thai girls, they age very well. So you can see a 40-year-old Thai woman and she looks like she's 22. So I wouldn't worry so much about that. But depends on what you want to do. I mean, what your age is, what's your end game. You know, you want to date young girls, go for it. I mean, nobody's there to stop you. I'm certainly not going to judge. I've got friends that date a lot of young girls, so my preference is a little older because they tend to be more mature. You tend to have more in common. They seem to be more stable in what they believe in, what they want. And if you're looking for a stable relationship, it's long term, it's lasting, that would be my advice. But you know, it's to each his own, suit yourself. But that would be the Philippines or Manila would get the check mark as far as easiness of finding someone to date or dating, being an expat. I know here in Thailand, most Thai girls seem to be dating Thai guys. Okay, so I do see mixed as far as foreigners dating Thai girls. I see that. You see it a lot, but I would say the majority of you don't. Probably the same in Manila and the Philippines. You probably, if you're really looking, you're probably going to see more Filipinas with Filipinos rather than with foreigners. But I think there's probably a little better chance of you finding someone to date in the Philippines. Dating sites have become almost 100% transactional. Tell me of a dating site. Put in the comments down below. Tell me of a dating site that you have gone on and messaged a pretty woman or pretty girl, and the first thing out of their mouth is I'm freelancer or I'm I'm transactional or whatever. Um, it seems to be that's the new trend is the freelancers instead of standing on a street corner, they're going on these dating sites. So that seems to be the way that things go. So the best way to meet girls is to be out in public and don't be afraid to say hi and talk to the cashier that's giving your change or the waitress that's bringing your food or drink or the retail person that's uh, showing you where a certain item is in the store. Don't be afraid to say hello to them and strike up a conversation. And I've always said this from day one when I started, when I moved to the Philippines, I started dating. I would, when I walk by and I make eye contact with a girl as they're walking by, and if she smiles, I smile, I'll say hi, she says hi. If I walk past, I turn around and look back. If she turns around and looks back at me, there's your cue. Go back there and say hi, exchange numbers or Facebook Messenger, and ask them if it would be okay for you to message them and ask them out for a drink or lunch or something like that. So that's, to me, that's the best way to meet people over there, and it's probably the best way not to find out if they're transactional or not, because generally speaking, unless you're walking down P. Burgos or walking street in Angeles City, if you're going to walk by a girl and they say hi, they're generally speaking, unless you're in those two places, they're not freelancers. Okay, and you can run into the same thing here in Bangkok. If you walk down to the lower Solis, the lower streets on Sukhumvit, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Most of those girls are freelancers that you're going to run into. So, and there seems to be more of them. I forgot to mention which is more attractive, which are more beautiful, Filipina or Thai girls. Man, it's so close. I would say by total volume or number of beautiful women in Thailand wins that. But I gotta say, of the most beautiful woman, she's in Manila. Did you see? Filipina. So there's my answer. I'm sticking to it. Another plus for Thailand, I gotta throw this in. I don't do it, but my buddies do. Massages are great here. So I've had a couple of buddies here that they've gotten a massage, at least once a day and probably more than once a day because, and I'm not talking about the happy ending ones either. I'm talking about the regular Thai massages, and they swear by it. They're so good. And here in Bangkok, they're about 300 baht for 3 hours or for an hour. So that's about $8, a little over $8 an hour. If you go to like Hua Hin or Pattaya, you can get them for 200, which is about 550, less than 550 for an hour massage, and you get a great Thai massage. So I just threw that one in for good measure. But let me know in your comments what you think. I know this got a little long, but I wanted to cover as many bases as possible. Bottom line is, for me, the number one reason that I'm in BGC and going to stay in BGC, at least for the time being, is my girlfriend. She's my number one reason, and as long as she wants me, as long as she can put up with my shenanigans, I'll stick around. But if I weren't dating her, if I weren't in a relationship, I would probably move to Thailand tomorrow, or when my lease runs out at BGC. That's how much I like Bangkok. So, and the nice thing about Bangkok is I can go down to the beach and 2 hours and be beachside if I want. I think if I lived on the beach, I get bored with it and take it for granted. That's kind of how I was when I lived in Denver. I used to love going to Colorado to the mountains. When I lived there, you got to take it for granted, and then it wasn't as majestic, it wasn't as neat a thing to see every day. So I think I would not live on the beach. I would just go to the beach when I felt like it. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. As always, I appreciate all your subscribing and you're watching my videos and sharing them and hitting that likes button and also commenting. All that helps my algorithms to get it out to more people so I can share it with experiences. But tomorrow night, heading back home to BGC, so we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.